Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Broad Podcaster with me, Jennifer Fierro, here in the Highland Lakes. Joined once again with Art Dlugach, the voice of the Llano Yellow Jackets. We are going to go over some more Llano football. I'm going to toss it to you, Art. Go ahead.
Well, this is not going over. This is a repeat show. I'm kidding. It's not a repeat. I'm trying to do a make good here for head coach Matt Green of the Llano Jackets and the Jacket boys that I left off last week. There were so many of them here of the all-district team. So let's get to this real quickly. And for those of you who have already heard or know of these young men, please bear with us. All right, number one, Offensive Lineman of the Year, Ross Edwards. Congratulations to him. I did not mention him and certainly should have. I'll go ahead and repeat. District MVP, Carson Kirkendall. Offensive MVP, quarterback Briggs Green. And co-defensive MVP, Jackson Ray. First team offense, Miguel Hernandez, running back. Wide receivers, Jackson Dillard and Ross Prokop. Center, Jackson Lang. And offensive lineman, Hudson Godfrey and Daniel Sandoval. We now go to the defense first team, Kyle Gilliland, Bryce Mize, who was a candidate to be the quarterback during the summer. Turns out that he played defensive end or nose guard and just had a sensational season. A great choice there. So was Hayden Manahan, inside linebacker, and hopes to play Division II or III next year. We wish him the best. Brock Fly had a great season, wasn't depended on to be as good as he was inside linebacker, but it was an excellent year for him with he was a leader among the tacklers, total tackles for the Jackets. Outside linebackers, Fitz Kennedy and Ricky Delatorre. Delatorre 3 years a Jacket, and Fitz Kennedy will be back next season. Defensive backs, Isaiah Bush and Caden Bauman. And another word about Bryce Mize. Also, he was the first team kicker among the kickers of extra points and field goals. He was 67 of 71 kicks on extra points. Excellent. He had 7 field goals. Second team offense, Coy Kelso, wide receiver, and Parker Parrish, tight end, and Parker will be back next year. Offensive lineman, second team, Dylan Kennedy, Fitz's twin, and Brannon Green. Second team defense, Ulysses Martinez with 9 interceptions, and also Braden Hatfield with 6, 2 defensive backs. So that just about does it. Real quickly, the honorable mention, Sam Sultanfuss, Alex Kachura, Luke Turner, Charlie White, Remington Hip, Dusty Miller, Russell Nelson, and Cole Franklin. There was no Coach of the Year mentioned, has not been the last couple of years in districts that Llano's in. If there had been, Coach Green likes to nominate or be part of a staff as staff of the year, and that certainly would be the Jackets, as they were unbeaten in district play. So there you go, and I'm sure that Coach Green or someone else can figure out others that I've left off. Please let me know, and we will continue to get these right until we totally do so. So I think I just about did it.
Yeah, let's hope that's it. Not that I'm eager to say goodbye to Texas high school football. It's just that we know how important Texas high school football is to our high schools, but after talking to some of our head basketball coaches, I think that they feel that Texas high school basketball is pretty darn good too. So in that respect, in the next segment, we will talk high school basketball. We're going to stay with football here. As you know, the great state of Texas has 35 million Texans who live here. That is a large number of people in one state. That also means that the UIL crowns 12 state champions from the public school ranks. That does not count the private school associations, the home schools, and so on and so forth. There are so many of those, I don't think one person could keep up with them all. I will say that Class 6A, which is the largest classification in the state, with Duncanville and North Shore, brought in record crowds again. DeSoto defeating Vandegrift in Austin, Leander Vandegrift, which is part of Leander ISD. That brought in a good number of crowds. We've watched quite a few of the ball games. All I want to say about Texas high school football is, if you can see some of the highlights, if you are a non-Texan, then you will understand why Texas high school football is as highly thought of around the country as it is.
And they were able to have been able to play the last few years at AT&T Stadium, so it's a thrill for the kids and the fans. It's a great deal to go there on Wednesday and stay the whole week and see all 12 of those games. I want to mention the winners of those games. Now, Vandegrift lost.
Yes,
to DeSoto. In its game to DeSoto. DeSoto always an outstanding team, but to get to AT&T as Vandegrift did, that's terrific. And the school has only been playing football in about a dozen years or so.
Yes, they had a chance to advance to the playoffs in 2010. My Mustangs beat them in Vandegrift. That was their first year playing varsity ball. The winner of that game was going to take the 4th spot, and Marble Falls went there and won that night.
Big surprise to me, Refugio, which beats everybody, teams a lot bigger than itself, was beaten badly by Hawley, 54 to 28, I believe, the final there. It never was close. Franklin, the team that beat Edna beat Llano. Franklin, state champion of 3A Division I, with a thriller over Brock, 17 to 14. Wimberley, former district opponent of Llano, rival for many years, a fine head coach in Doug Warren, took an unbeaten team to the state semis. They won the state semis. They took an unbeaten team to the finals, and then were beaten handily by Carthage. So too bad there, but I mean, runner-up, that is certainly something to be proud of. So those were some of the games that I was interested in, and as you say, it really is a great showcase for Texas football.
Yeah. I will make mention that in the bigger schools, South Oak Cliff repeated as the Class 5A Division II state champion. That's a big, big deal for Texas fans. So many of the kids that committed to play for the University of Texas played over the weekend on Friday and Saturday. By all indications, Texas will have a top 5 recruiting class if everybody signs during the early signing period on Wednesday.
And I believe it's Frank Washington, running back for Franklin, and he is committed to Baylor for next season. So Baylor folks are certainly happy about that. A couple of quick mentions, you tell me when we're running out of time, of pro football on Sunday. It's a tie game, New England and the Raiders, with like no time left. So New England's got the ball, and if they fall on the ball, they go to overtime, no big deal. They start the great University of California lateral play, which is really dangerous if a game is tied or at halftime where the other team can pick it up and score. It should only be used if you are behind. But New England, led by the legendary coach Bill Belichick, starts tossing that ball around. Well, the Raiders intercept, score a touchdown, game over, Raiders win. So you see, even the great ones can make a mistake. And mistakes were made by the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday, as they had a 33-0 halftime lead.
Saturday.
I'm sorry?
Saturday. I think that game was
Saturday. Okay. 33-0 lead over the Vikings, and the Vikings won in OT 39-36, all-time NFL record for a comeback. And the Cowboys lost to My
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, excuse me, led by Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback for the Jaguars, 40-34 in overtime. A mistake there was made as the Cowboys passed on a third down when they had the ball. They could have taken a knee and forced the Jaguars to use their final timeout at least, even though they get the ball. But they didn't. They passed 40 yards down the field. The Jaguars got the ball, used that timeout, and scored to get into OT.
Yeah, I hated that play call. He's talking about the third down play in regulation where it's 3rd and 10. Dallas on 1st and 10 takes a 3-yard loss. On 2nd and 13, they get a 3-yard run. And then on 3rd and 10, instead of calling for a slant and giving themselves an opportunity to maybe convert on a 4th down, they decide to go down the field on a sideline pass to the receiver. Doesn't do anything with the ball. It goes incomplete. Jacksonville has the one timeout, and they're able to go down the field and score. And I believe that sends the game into overtime.
Yes.
And then I turned it off after that. I know Dallas lost. It's frustrating to be a Cowboys fan. That's about all I can say about that.
Well, defending the Cowboys, they're still 10-4, one of the best records in the league, and a very tough game coming up against the Eagles. It's possible. You don't ever want to wish for an injury, but I'm just telling you what I read on the bottom line of ESPN. It's possible that Jalen Hurts will not play in that game.
Another outstanding Texan.
Yes, the quarterback for the Eagles.
Another former Texas high school quarterback. Look, bottom line, the Cowboys, and I'm going to echo what I read because I see it with my own eyes. And this guy will tell you, I don't trust anything more than what I see. The Cowboys are pretenders. They're not contenders, they're pretenders. That's where we are. That is where we are. Don't even get me started on everything else I've seen from them. 10 wins, fine. But the 4 losses are excruciatingly painful.
Well, a couple of them were, maybe 2, because Cooper Rush did a good job subbing, but a couple of them may have been because Dak was out.
Well, the loss of the Packers remains one of the most frustrating losses I've seen. That loss and the Jacksonville loss, and believe me when I tell you, they are losses. There is a difference to me between a team that wins and a team that loses. Dallas lost both of those games.
Well, I agree that I don't think Dallas is the best team in the NFL. I think the Eagles are better than Dallas is. I think the Chiefs are. But speaking of the Chiefs, we can talk about the Texans. Everybody was making fun of Dallas for having trouble with the Texans 2 weeks ago. Well, the Chiefs had trouble with them too, and Houston lost both games, but they certainly put up big battles for those of you who are still Texan fans.
Okay. We're going to close this segment out, and I promise we're going to talk some basketball. I will be in much better spirits for that. As always, for all of your high school sports, please go to TexasChalkTalk.com, and please make sure you like, subscribe, and share the channel.